Attorney General Eric Holder said it is subject to potential abuse and that he is leaving open the possibility of a court challenge to it. Janet Napolitano, our Homeland Security chief, had a different concern. She said, "We have some deep concerns with the law. It will detract from and siphon resources that we need to concentrate on those in the country illegally, those who have committed the most serious crimes." So, of course, the right wing went crazy over this, and Rush Limbaugh is going to attack not the Obama administration, but the regime. So let's go to clip number 5.
The Attorney General of the United States, Eric Holder, has said that the U.S. Justice Department may challenge the Arizona law. Go for it, Mr. AG. 70% of the people of Arizona are in favor of this law. So you go for it. Ladies and gentlemen, in light of that, Byron York has a piece. I don't have time to quote from it. It's in the Washington Examiner today, actually from yesterday, a carefully crafted immigration law in Arizona. And when you read Byron's piece here, we'll link to it at rushlimbaugh.com, you will see how thoughtful and carefully it was written by good lawyers in Arizona. It's going to be tough for somebody to turn this back. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I welcome the challenge here. The regime versus the state of Arizona. The regime taking the side of the lawless. The regime taking the side of drug coyotes. The regime taking the side of smugglers. Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, that's what they're doing, by saying, hey, you know what? You might actually be rounding up and arresting perfectly legal citizens of the United States based on their race or ethnicity. They're taking the side of the drug coyotes and the lawless and the smugglers. But to be fair to Rush, that's probably how he sees all of you. I mean, he thinks, well, look, if you're a Mexican in Arizona, what are you doing? Mexican-American, that doesn't count. So if we try to protect you, well, obviously we're protecting the lawless and the smugglers and the coyotes. It never occurs to him that, hey, maybe that's not the concern here. The concern is all the people you're going to round up who are innocent. Now, here comes the great irony of that. While the Glenn Becks and the Rush Limbaughs are ranting and raving about the government is coming to round you up, here's a law where they actually round you up. And then what happens? Rush Limbaugh and the rest of them love it, as long as they round you up and not people like Rush Limbaugh. You get it? So this whole thing about, oh, don't worry, we had good lawyers work on it. Trust them. They said that they will do it on other basis. And the 70% of Arizona agrees anyway. Like 70% of the South agreed that blacks were not equal to whites. And of course they couldn't drink from the same water fountain. That's absurd. And it was northern agitators who caused problems like that. And it's people outside of Arizona who don't realize the problems that they have with the Mexicans. Look, do we want to go after the drug dealers? We all do. And when I talked about the law, that's the problem with Rush Limbaugh, among many, many problems. When I talk about the law, I said, hey, listen, I get that the guys who are here illegally, that are undocumented, okay, nobody's happy about that. And if they're arrested for some reason, you should definitely look into see if they're undocumented or not, and then you should kick them out of the country. Of course, right? So it's a complicated issue. It's not easy as, all right, round up all the Mexicans and see what happens, right? And it's not as easy as don't do anything, okay? And we bring you that nuance. Rush, he doesn't do nuance. He's like George W. Bush. He's like, well, I don't know. Wait, are you Mexican or are you not Mexican? That's it. All right, then you're a bad guy, okay? And we got to look to see if you have your papers. Hey, Rush, should we see if all the Christians in Florida, where you live, for example, if you all have your papers? What? How could you attack the Christians? How dare you? Discrimination. You see that? We're the victims. They love playing the victims. But when there's actual discrimination, they don't give a rat's ass as long as it's not them.